In this video, we are going to learn about scientific notation. In real-world problems, we often come across very large or very small numbers. For example, consider the number 30 million. Now we can see that this number is a very large number. Sometimes we also come across very small numbers, for example, 0.000000008. This number is quite small. Now we can see that writing these numbers is difficult because they're so long. Now to make things simpler, we use scientific notation. Now to write these numbers in scientific notation, we are going to rewrite them using powers of 10. If we consider the number 30 million, we can rewrite this as 3 times 10 to the power of 7. Now we can see that writing 3 times 10 to the power of 7 is a lot simpler and a lot shorter than writing a number like this. Now if we consider the next number, we can rewrite that number using the powers of 10 as 8 times 10 to the power of -9. So we can see that writing the number in this form of 8 times 10 to the power of -9 is a lot simpler and shorter than writing the number in this form. Now, if we write a number in this form or this form, then we say that we have written the number in scientific notation. In general, we say that a number is written in scientific notation when it is expressed in the form a times 10 to the power of n, where 1 is less than or equal to the absolute value of a, and that is less than 10, and the number n is an integer. Now, let us consider a few examples. First of all, let us consider the number 5 million. Now, we can write this number in scientific notation as 5 times 10 to the power of 6. Let us consider another number. Let us consider 69,000. Now we can write this number in scientific notation as 6.9 times 10 to the power of 4. Let us consider a small number. Let us consider -0.000038. Now we can write this number in scientific notation as -3.8 times 10 to the power of -5. Let us consider another small number. Let us consider 0.00000001. We can write this number in scientific notation as 1 times 10 to the power of -8. Now, let us consider all of the values of a in these expressions. In the first one, the value of a is 5. In the next one, the value of a is 6.9. In the next one, the value of a is -3.8. And in the next one, the value of a is 1. If we have a look at all of these values, we can see that all of them fall within this range. That is, if we consider the absolute values of all of these values of a, then all of them are greater than or equal to 1 and are also less than 10. It is very important that the absolute values of a fall within this range. For example, let us consider the number 69,000. Now we can write this number using the powers of 10 as 69 times 10 to the power of 3. We can also write this number using the powers of 10 as 0.69 times 10 to the power of 5. But neither of these expressions are written in scientific notation. This is because if we consider the values of a, then their absolute values are not in the correct range. If we consider the first form, the value of a here is 69. The absolute value of that is 69, and that is greater than 10, so it is not in the correct range. If we consider the next one, the value of a is 0.69. Now, the absolute value of that is 0.69, and that is less than 1. So this is also not in the correct range. Now, in scientific notation, the number a is always written with the decimal point right after the first non-zero digit. If we consider the first form over here, we have 69, and we can write that as 69.0. Now, the first non-zero digit is 6, but the decimal point isn't written over here. It's written over here. So that means that the decimal point is not written right after the first non-zero digit. So it's not in scientific notation. If we consider the next one, we have 0.69. The first non-zero digit is 6, and so if we wanted to place the decimal point right after that, it should have been over here. However, the decimal point is over here. So this is also not in scientific notation. Now we can have a look at the examples we did previously. In the first one, we have 5. That's 5.0. The first non-zero digit is 5, and the decimal point is right after that. So this is in scientific notation. The next one is 6.9. The first non-zero digit is 6, and the decimal point is placed right after that. So this is in scientific notation. And the next one, we have negative 3.8. The first non-zero digit is 3. The decimal point is placed right after that. So this is in scientific notation. And then the last one, we have 1, which we can write as 1.0. The first non-zero digit is 1, and the decimal point is placed right after that. So this is also written in scientific notation. Always remember that it is conventional to use the symbol cross to represent multiplication and not the symbol dot whenever we write a number in scientific notation. So if we have a number like 4,500 and we write that in scientific notation, we will write 4.5 times 10 to the power of 3, and we use this cross sign. We do not write 4.5 dot 10 to the power of 3. This is not the conventional way of writing it. Now, let us consider a few practice problems. Let us have a look at the first one. We have 8900000. Now, we want to write this number in scientific notation. So first of all, we are going to write down all of the non-zero digits. So we can see that the non-zero digits are 8 and 9. So we're going to write 8, 9. And when we write a number in scientific notation, the decimal point needs to be after the first non-zero digit. So the first non-zero digit is 8, and we will place the decimal point right after that. So we have 8.9. Now with this, we multiply 10 to the power of something. Now what is that something? Now we have this position as the position right after the first non-zero digit. Now let's see how many spaces we need to jump. So first of all, we need to go over here. That's 1 space, then 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We need to jump 6 places to get to the end. So we will have 10 to the power of 6. So the number written in scientific notation will be 8.9 times 10 to the power of 6. Let us consider the next number. We have negative 325,000. So first of all, we're going to write all of the non-zero digits, and we're going to include the sign. So we have negative 325. And we're going to place the decimal point right after the first non-zero digit, which is 3. With this, we multiply 10 to the power of something. Now, what is that something? So the place right after the first non-zero digit is over here. And let's see how many digits we need to jump to make it to the end. So we have to jump 1 place, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5. So we need to jump a total of 5 places. So we will have 10 to the power of 5. So the number written in scientific notation will be negative 3.25 times 10 to the power of 5. Let us have a look at the next ones. We have 0.001234. Now, first of all, we're going to write the non-zero digits. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the first non-zero digit is 1, so we place the decimal point right after that. And with this we multiply 10 to the power of something. Now what is that something? Now the place right after the first non-zero digit is over here. Now how many places do we need to jump? Now we need to go 1, 2, 3 places to get to this decimal point. And we can see that we have jumped to the left. So we end up with a negative sign on the 10 to the power, that is 10 to the power of negative 3. Whenever we jump to the left, the power will be a negative number. Now the scientific notation will be 1.234 times 10 to the power of negative 3. Let us consider the next one. We have negative 0.0000000006. So let us consider the first non-zero digit, that is 6. We'll write that along with the sign. So we have negative 6. And we'll multiply this with 10 to the power of something. Now the place right after the first non-zero digit is over here. Now how many places do we need to jump to get to the decimal point? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We need to jump 10 places to get to this decimal point. So we end up with 10 to the power of negative 10. And it's negative 10 because we need to jump to the left. So the required scientific notation is negative 6 times 10 to the power of negative 10. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. See you next time.